Hey everybody, happy Sunday. It's me, Ed Carbajal, here for MMAnews.com. You'll notice I'm not wearing my headset like I always am because this happened. See that? Broken. So that should make for a nice productive week as far as the podcast and everything I do goes. So hopefully you can hear me all right. I'm going to be looking to the side here because this is my I got my blue microphone. I don't want to move anything because apparently all my equipment's falling apart. So without further ado, thank you for watching this video. It will always be up at MMAnews.com. This and all my other Sunday submissions. We'll be looking back at UFC on ESPN plus 27, I think that's called, from last night, and Bellator 248, aka Bellator Paris, that happened this past weekend. So we'll be doing recaps of that, and obviously, the stuff that we've seen. So if you like what we're doing here at MMAnews.com, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. My interview is up. I spoke with title challenger for Bellator 249, Arlene Blencow. That interview has been up since Friday over at MMAnews.com, and I just published an article about it. So if you don't mind, go check it out there. She's definitely somebody that folks are probably sleeping on because she's fighting Cyborg at Bellator 249. And, it's definitely something you should check out. I think that's going to be a fun fight for this coming week on Thursday. And obviously we'll look back at it after the fight happens this coming Sunday, October 18th. That's going to be, So, but the fight's on Thursday night, CBS Sports, October 15th. And, so let's get into, we also have an interview with Tim Johnson, who actually won this past weekend's Bellator event. James Lynch did that one. Also up on the YouTube channel at MMAnews.com. So make sure you check all that stuff out. Sorry, I keep looking down. I just got to make sure that everything is muted. Again, rough weekend with the equipment over here in the Carbazal household. But I guess we should look right back at the you've probably seen the knockout by now. Joaquin Buckley's knockout over Impa Kasanguine at last night's UFC event in Fight Island. I know in the main event, Marlon Moraes versus Corey Sandhagen. Moraes, which is I had Moraes picked to win, and I was wondering why he was the underdog, but apparently we saw why in the main event. I mean, I'm a fan of Marlon, so that's the other reason I picked him to win. But obviously there was a lot of there's a few decisions on the card, and there was a lot of decisions leading up to it. But I'm trying to find Joaquin Buckley, the Impa Kasanguine knockout spin kick in round 2. And if you want to see the complete results, they're up over at MMAnews.com, which is where I'm checking right now, reading off of them. That kick I wanted to talk about because it's funny if you watch the interviews he did afterward, post-fight interview, on ESPN, and then when he was addressing the media after the event, he had talked about how he had noticed that motion that Kasanguine did when he was blocking, that kick to the body, that brush aside, that's actually a common, a lot of guys train that. Anybody that's training striking out there knows what I'm talking about. And it's weird because, we all had to take a break from training with the whole COVID situation. But for me personally, your body gets naturally, if you know anything about the physics and the mechanics of combat sports, especially when you're throwing punches and the way that your body and your skeleton twists, you can set up a lot of the other strikes and stuff based on that's how you chain attacks together. There's common ones and there's a lot of uncommon ones. And what we saw from Buckley was uncommon to us, which is why that highlight is all over it. I'm literally getting messages about it now from some of my own training partners, but myself haven't gotten back into striking recently after the whole pandemic thing and a bunch of other stuff. But we just recently trained that, brushing the kick aside from the body. And for me, like I felt a spinning back fist is for me is the most natural response because I'm old. I'm not as athletic as Buckley is, but that's something he's always been practicing. And so I was saying during the post fight interview and when he was addressing the media, he had said that that's something he trained. Oh Jesus, my hair looks. This is why I'm gonna cut this mop. I'm gonna cut this mess. As soon as I run out of hair product, this is a result of the pandemic. Folks that know me know I usually rock a buzz cut, so don't be shocked when you see that come back should the Sunday submissions make it into 2021. But yeah, so he said he trained that a lot, and he noticed that because Sangane was holding that foot as he did the brush for so long that he felt he could pull that off, and obviously the gamble, he rolled the dice and it worked for him. So super cool. Definitely, if it's not a candidate, it's going. I mean, if it's not going to win, it's definitely a candidate for knockout of the year. 2020, the insane year that it has been, and then that's obviously what stood out for a lot of folks. So, and then there was a bantamweight fight that I think it was the main event here with Corey Sandhagen. I mean, it looks like not for nothing. And when you're looking at the division, it's time to give Aljamain Sterling that shot that I guess they were looking at this. I forget what's going on there, but they keep on ignoring homeboy Aljamain Sterling, and I don't know, man. There's a clear contender for that, and it should be him. So that's it for that is it. I mean, that outside of the decisions, I mean, obviously there was a lot of notable wins for folks, but shout out to Joaquin Buckley for stealing the show and getting his $50,000 bonus at UFC. What is this again? I gotta look at it. I called it 27. ESPN, UFC on ESPN plus 37. Between the ESPNs and the fight nights and God knows what. I mean, the only ones I'm able to keep track of are the pay-per-view numbers. At least Bellator just numbers the event. Sometimes they'll call it Milan, sometimes they'll call it Paris. But it's getting confusing. As confusing as it is to order a pay-per-view, it's getting confusing to keep track of the event numbers, especially when they have a UFC event every week, and I think up until mid-December, we're not going to be short of a UFC event. I just want to bring up the Bellator 248 because we had. I tell you what, man, the live MMA, especially coming from the Bellator side, people used to complain about the tape delays. The move to CBS Sports is on the money because now we get to see everything. Bellator 248, Bellator Euro Series from Paris. It was nice to see. I mean, it's nice and it's not nice to see. So here we go at MMAnews.com. We have those up too. We cover the sport of mixed martial arts as we try to expand our tastes, even though I know we pump out a lot of UFC news. Hopefully that will change. And here we are with Bellator 248 results. So one of the things that I noticed as I was watching the event, the MVP Michael Venom Page was the main event there, but he was the main event for Bellator 248 because they did the Bellator Euro Series where Chet Congo and Tim Johnson, which again we have the interview with before that fight on the YouTube channel with James Lynch. So one of the things I noticed as I was watching, because it's almost like we're getting used to fans not being at events, and I guess they let some folks in or whatever was going on, but because the MVP fight went to a decision, Michael Venom Page he defeated Ross Houston by unanimous decision. There was a point, I think it was in round 2 or the last round, where there was some booze coming because of the they took a little time circling each other and stuff like that. So it was definitely one of those things where I was shocked to hear fan reaction because we're so used to not. We're kind of gotten used to just hearing coaches yelling and maybe some corner stuff happening. But yeah, it was definitely something worth watching. We have some of the highlights up here as I scroll through on MMAnews.com. I'm trying to see if they they put up. This isn't it, is it? Viva la France. Is this the guy that does the dance after? I gotta mute this. Check out this. Let me mute that so you don't hear it. Oh, is that it? So we don't get the celebration? Oh, wow. Yeah, I think ESPN. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the fighter. I'm not going to look for it on Twitter now. That's the highlight reel knockout. But I mean, talk about some energy, man. The celebration he did after Terry Brazier. There's a knockout. Islander versus Terry Brazier. When he knocked out, he did a celebration win that was a highlight outside of martial arts, highlight reel worthy of it itself. If you didn't catch that, you should definitely catch that. That's another one floating around the socials if you're following all the highlights from the fights this weekend. Man, I really do wish the timing was better as far as because you're kind of tuned in all day, but it is a good way for everyone to get their fill of fight sports as the weekend goes on. But so the thing with that happened with Tim Johnson winning at Bellator 248, that fight. There was some there. It's kind of sad because I was hoping Chicago would win. I'm sorry, Bellator Euro Series. We have it all divided up here. It might as well just be Bellator 248 because to me it was all under the same event, But anyway, when Tim Johnson won the split decision, because Congo had his moments in that fight, but this is the first week. There was some I think Thursday night. For folks that don't know, in Paris, in France, the MMA was kind of like in the situation out here in New York we were in, where the sport was banned some years ago. So it was nice to have this main event, which with Congo, it would have been nice if he picked up the win because that's kind of like how they loaded the card. But the thing with MMA, as we know, fights don't always go as maybe how the promoter wanted it to go. So, excuse me. But the thing with the win that Tim Johnson, if you check out that interview, so it was supposed to be for the heavyweight Congo, was going to get a title shot, but with Johnson picking up this win, things got spun out of control with the obviously rescheduling everything with the pandemic and stuff, and then making the move to CBS Sports, because now this was probably our last Saturday Bellator event. They're going to move to Thursday nights regularly, which I'm a little bit, I don't want to say I don't like it, because it's nice to be able, it's going to help you watch the entire sport, not just your favorite promotion. Everybody, usually Friday, Saturday nights are the fight night for fans, but the move to Thursday, I think it's probably going to be better for fans of the entire sport, because now you can watch everything, keep an eye on all the fighters, like this fight with Johnson and the one they have coming up at Bellator 249, which I really do think that's going to be a fight of the not an easy fight for Cyborg, just based on the way Blencow talks. I mean, I might as well get into the way I think that's going to play out, just because it's a title fight. It'll be 5 rounds. So when I spoke with, and again, that interview's up at the MMAnews.com YouTube channel, if you want to check it out. But when I spoke to her, I mean, I asked her So things that Blenko is doing. Let me take this down. Get this back to normal. Things that Blenko is doing for that she's done. So I talked to her before the week after when Bellator announced their spring summer schedule. I was in New York, and then the pandemic happened that same week, and the whole schedule had to get revamped. So we're getting to see a lot of fights. We're getting to see a lot of fights that were announced. They're happening now, but this one wasn't announced. This was because it's technically for the fall. That was just for spring and summer. And but the thing is, so one of the things Blenkow told me was that she saw this fight happening when Cyborg came to Bellator and beat Julia Budd. So there's a lot of history with Blenko and the Bellator featherweight title. She fought Julia Budd twice. The last time is when Budd was a title holder, and she lost a split decision. So at the beginning of the year, before the pandemic, she was in the States, in New Mexico, training at Jackson Wink, and she trained with the likes of Michelle Waterson, Holly Holm. Holly Holm fought and lost to Cyborg, but she fought 5 rounds. So that, in terms of martial arts and learning about someone, there's things you can pick up, and especially they come from the same world. For folks that don't, one of the things I talked to Blenko, she said she's not, with the States, she doesn't have the fan base that she has, if she was fighting in Australia. So one of the things, she comes from the world of boxing and striking, and so that her having some mat time with Holm and someone that's fought Cyborg, I think that there's definitely some knowledge that was probably exchanged there when I asked her about it. When you ask fighters questions like that, they're not gonna tell you, oh yeah, I plan on submitting them, or I plan on throwing a lot of right straights and things like that. But there was definitely some knowledge exchange there, and even though Holm lost, that doesn't mean there's there's a saying in folks that train in martial arts know that losses are lessons. So whatever lesson Holm took from that loss, I'm sure she shared some of that with Blenko. So, and I asked her if she watched the Nunes fight. So there's definitely things that she saw in that fight that she's going to take into this fight coming on Thursday. So I'm actually really looking forward to it, and I'm super pissed that I'm not there. If y'all don't know that, don't follow me on Twitter at Carbazel. I'm usually at Mohegan Sun, but this whole situation, I think I said it last week, this whole situation with the COVID-19 and the extra quarantine time and stuff like that, it's just not what's the word I'm looking for? Economically viable for my Falling Down fans. If you've ever watched the movie Falling Down, that's where I got that quote from. But it isn't, man. I got to, as a small timer, you got to watch where you spend your monies. So, yeah, it's the UFC. We're ramping up. We got next week. The week after next, is UFC 254, which I know everybody's already kind of zeroed in on. It's almost like there's no events between that one and between now and then. But there is a lot of news is coming out of negotiations, definitely stuff with the 155. You can check out. They just published some stuff about the Tony Ferguson's comments about negotiating for his next fight, and the whole thing going on with Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, who were looking to do a charity fight, and now it looks like it's going to be at the UFC. I would imagine they're going to somehow give the profits to some sort of charity. But it's weird how social media has become, especially for fighters, it's social marketing. It's like that for all of us now. Look at Instagram. You got a lot of people, influencers on there that are just getting paid money because they post a lot and people start following them, and it's like, oh, hey, I drink this coffee, buy this coffee and things like that. So it's become a tool for fighters. So the social media marketing looks like it's helping make some fights during the pandemic, some fights that probably should have been made beforehand. But Most fighters want to fight. They don't want to sit home. I mean, I know we talk about safety and stuff like that. It's definitely something we're seeing a lot of, and a lot of stars coming out of opportunity with the fights being made. When you're looking at Joaquin Buckley, he was the underdog for last night's fight, and one spinning taekwondo-esque back kick later, well, everyone knows his name now. It's funny because he said he likes being the underdog and the unknown, but someone, I think it was one of the guys from Mac Life, that said to him, that's not going to be the case for you anymore. I'm trying to think what fights. Speaking of which, Impa Kasangane, that he posted, the guy's super nice. He actually, I've seen him respond to almost everyone, to his tweets and social media stuff. Sorry. And one of the things he said was he congratulated him. He was like, nice shot or whatever. I mean, again, that's the sign of a true martial artist. I mean, you take your L and you move on to the next one and learn from it. And Kasangane put up a post on social media congratulating. I think ESPN featured it on their social media this morning. I had to write up my Blanco interview and some stuff for a couple of the other sites I work for. Otherwise, I would have tried to get that up. But I mean, I like seeing stuff like that. It's weird that the trash talk and the negativity is something that seems to get featured more when it looks to booking fights and stuff like that. But it's nice to see the positive stuff too, like exchanges like that, and the stuff that between McGregor and Poirier. It seems like it's been all respect, because they're just like, hey, listen, why don't we take out the garbage of this? We both have a platform and a place where we can feature our skills. I mean, if they wanted to make it an exhibition, so it wouldn't have counted on their records. I mean, of course they probably would have tried to knock each other out or whatever, spar or whatever they wanted to call it. But it would have, they were willing to brush all their history and stuff aside to just feature a fight and maybe get some money together and get themselves moving and stuff, because the thing about combat sports is the window. You look at guys that start. I mean, look at Nick. I mean, some guys start from they're 19, 20 years old, and they can get a long career. But then when you start hitting the upper 30s and stuff like that, it's time to start looking at the end, And one of the things that that I just read as we were going through the MMAnews.com articles, like Jermaine Durandamy just picked up that win last weekend, and she wants her rematch against Amanda Nunes, but if she doesn't get it, or if she falls to Amanda, if she gets it and falls to Amanda Nunes, she's already talking about retiring, because the window is small. The body can only take so much. And when you look at training camps and stuff like that, and, the weight cuts and stuff like that, it's only a matter of time before your body starts to tell you, I need a break. I have to stop. And that's why it's a young man's sport. So, it's great to see all these new young and up and coming fighters, but it's like Khamzat Chimaev. They're trying to put him against. I think I don't know if it was Ali. I can't pronounce his last name. Ali from Dominance MMA manages a lot of fighters in the sport, and there was a hint there that maybe we're not going to see that Damian Maia fight that we thought we were going to see. I mean, because Maia's been on record about not only he just wants to get some submission wins as he fights out his contract, but you don't want to put him against monsters like Chimaev either. So the whole point I'm getting to is like the young guys, Chimaev, Buckley. I mean, even Impa Kasangane, because he's young too, and he came off. He was the favorite to win, and look what happened with the opportunity for Buckley there. So it's definitely a young man's sport, and when guys are on their way out, late 30s, early 40s, crazy that Cheick Kongo wasn't looking. I thought we were going to hear a retirement announcement from him, but I didn't look at the post-fight media stuff, so I don't know if that's coming or if anything like that happened. But the guys that, if they're able to do it, I feel like Randy Couture probably set that bad example. I don't want to say it's a bad example, but people, he's definitely one of the guys that fall into his 40s that folks are like, man, if he could do it and keep winning titles like he did, but the sports changed and evolved a lot back then. it's funny because that kick from Buckley, and I know we keep coming back to it, but I know a lot of folks are talking about it. But that kick from Buckley, folks knock Taekwondo a lot. I don't know if he has a Taekwondo background. I mean, they mentioned it to him. He didn't really respond to it. He just said it's something that he's been working with. But that's actually, if you see if you watch a lot of Taekwondo, someone's holding the shield. That's similar to a move that they drill. Like they'll throw the lead leg as like kind of like a roundhouse and then spin into that back kick. So crazy that's like a matrix like move. The thing is, when you get a win like that, if he does it again, then it's like Uriah Hall with his Tekken, like he had a spinning back heel kick where he lands the heel on the temple, which put a lot of guys out, if you remember from his season of Ultimate Fighter. So and he was able to do that a few times. I mean, and change the angle of it. It reminds me of when he fought Gegard Mousasi, and Mousasi, he did it, but he saw Mousasi change levels. I forget the event. I don't want to look it up now because I'm kind of out of space here. The headset thing has messed with my space because I don't want to knock over my microphone and knock the plug out or whatever. But one of the things that he did against Uriah Hall versus Gegard Mousasi in the UFC before Mousasi went to Bellator, when he knocked him, he got a TKO or a KO off of that, and he was in mid spin as he saw Mousasi change levels to go in for a takedown, and he still changed the level of the kick before firing it out, and Mousasi literally just shot into it, and that's how that fight got finished. So definitely something. I'm liking it. I know Buckley's liking that $50,000 bonus, but I mean, one thing we're seeing here, and I know I said it last week too. I'm pretty sure I said it last week too, but we're seeing a lot of stars being born from this. You got Buckley, you got Brandon Royval, you got Khamzat Chimaev, and I'm sorry if I'm missing a few of the people that are coming off with W's and getting featured on fights during this whole time. 2021 is going to be interesting. Again, the Paris event, there's people booing in there, and I know some states here in the United States are opening up. Last week, MMA Junkie put out that article that Texas is looking to hold events with fans, like 10% capacity or something like that. So, makes me wonder if the UFC will go to Texas when they come back. I mean, they're at Fight Island for a while now, but we have next week. I'll probably do like a preview that Sunday before. Maybe I'll do some picks. If you guys want to shoot me your hot takes or whatever, drop the comments in the YouTube channel and stuff like that. I always check them before I record. I didn't check this week though because like I said, I had some work to do before I recorded this, and then I had to deal with the microphone issue. So hopefully it don't sound too bad. But yeah, I'll rectify that and clean up my space for next week. But for those that watch, thanks so much for watching. Looking forward to more fights in the coming weekend. Definitely be looking back at Bellator 249. That's Thursday. I believe there's an LFA event on the 16th on Friday. It's LFA or CES. I have to check the schedule. And then, of course, there's going to be a UFC on the great day of October 17th. So make sure you keep an eye out for the future episodes. Again, please keep the views coming and the thumbs up. I'm checking. I try to check as often as possible, and I really appreciate you guys liking the videos and stuff. Even the thumbs down, because that means you're watching it. So I don't give a shit if you don't like I don't care if you don't like my hot takes. But as long as MMA News has me doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. So thank you so much. That's it for this Sunday. Enjoy your football and whatever the hell and the horror movies and whatever else you watch. I'm tapping out.